Hey guys, welcome back to Journey to the Rise. This is Chelsey Albert, and today I get the honor of kind of flipping the tables and interviewing Lucretia Kolba, who is the creator of this podcast. We have just kind of started a new venture, partnering to bring you a lot more really cool content. So I can't wait to introduce you. Now, I met Lucretia through a simple, unassuming, free networking meeting. We met at this little coffee shop and we just hit it off because what I loved about Lucretia from the very beginning is she is so authentic. And what I really also love, I've witnessed you grow from from photographer to farm and creating all of these things, and I really can't wait to hear what you're up to next, because you have just, in the years that I've known you, you have become an entirely different person, and you've just grown and blossomed into this exponential version of you that it's just been so cool to see. I will not lie, I've been stalking you on your socials, and like I feel like every time I'm like, ooh, that's cool, I want to do. Oh my god, why did she have to move away? That is one of the greatest annoyances that I have with you, is that you left Tennessee. So but anyway but anyway, Lucretia, please tell us what has led you. First of all, let us know what you're working on and what your life is like now and what led you up to this point.
Oh my gosh, I don't know if that could be just easily summed up.
Not so easy, is it?
No, I was in Tennessee. I grew up in Wisconsin, the northwestern region, on a dairy farm, and I just knew I knew I never wanted to be that person. There was nothing wrong with this, just for me. I never wanted to be that person who would be older in life in a rocking chair going, I lived in Wisconsin my whole life. Like, I just had to see another part of the world. And I was working on making connections in Tennessee, and I had moved around a lot. And when I got to Nashville, I was just tired of moving. I was just over it. And I worked really hard to make friends, get involved. I was very active with the Nashville Grotto, which is a caving organization. I got later into rock climbing, hiking, paddle boarding, and I wanted my business to grow. When the pandemic hit, I was just kind of done not seeing my photography business grow when I'm watching everybody else do it. I was extremely frustrated. And so I started going to networking meetings. That's how I got to meet you, Chelsey, which is such a blessing and an honor. And then life happened. I knew, because of the farm, always wanted to be on the farm. I knew that one day I would come back. I was just trying to get myself situated to be prepared financially to be able to pursue this endeavor. People think this farm endeavor is just kind of new to me. It's the whole reason I went to college. And so I got back up here, and I was like, well, I guess I just have to give up photography. No one will pay me to do it. Gosh darn. And I donated a photo session to a fundraiser, and someone bought it, and I posted those pictures. And it was like a few months later, someone hired me to do their photos. And I was like, oh no, since I knew you from a long time ago, I'll just charge you this much. This is what I charged in Nashville, but I won't do that to you. They said, no, your photos are wonderful. We're paying the full amount. I'm like, so what just happened?
People saw your value. That's what happened.
Yes. And that was a problem. I wasn't seeing my own. And so I was really struggling, and I set out for the next at least year, if not 2 years, working on my own confidence, my own self-value, my worth. I've been pushing this on other people for forever. Like, oh, you should raise your rates. This is why. And I could list out a marketing plan, a rate change system that could ease them in, but making them six figures by the end of the year, or even triple their income. So if they were making 10,000, they could be making 30, 40,000. Like, I could do it for other people, and I'm like, why can't I do this for myself? And it was because I didn't have the confidence to say, no, this is happening, I'm going to do it, blah blah blah. So I put
Yeah,
in just
it's
a
funny
lot of
because
work in
when
me.
we did a photo shoot, you were like I felt like a rock star. You are an absolute, I don't know if you're a woman's woman or if you are just like a client's photographer, but you bring out you were so just uplifting to me, and you help me feel so confident. So I'm so happy to hear that you've grown into that yourself.
Thank you. Yeah, it took a lot of work, and that's where I and that's with like the photography. It's like, how can I make this person? Because we're not used to being photographed, right? It's not normal. Like, I mean, with selfies and whatnot. So I've worked really, really hard on learning posing and learning how to make someone comfortable, and how can I look at someone and be like, okay, these are the poses, these are the things we can do to help this person feel good about themselves. And I've had a lot of people say, oh, I hated having my photo taken, but it was so much fun with you. I had a gentleman who worked for an insurance company, and he was being forced to do headshots, and he did not want to do headshots. And halfway through, he's like, I never thought I could have fun having my headshots done. And I'm having, like, there's a photo I took of him, and he's laughing so hard, he's almost falling off a chair.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a you thing. That is something unique that you bring to your sessions.
Thank you. But it took
So,
a lot of work, a lot of self work. And it is actually, ironically, I don't know if it's ironic or not, but I was seeing this therapist, and I was, I had been for much of my life around people who made me feel like I was a horrible person, and like, it was all these things. And I was like, man, if I'm this bad, I need to like do the work to find out like what I can do to be a better person. And so I've read, I don't know how many self-help books, and that's why I've been in and out of therapy. And I remember I used to train horses, and I was at a training clinic by a man named Ray Hunt, and who is a legend. And he recited this poem. I believe it's called "The Man in the Mirror." And there was a thing that stuck out to me, and it said, stop pointing the finger and start pointing the thumb.
mm,
And I'm like, okay, so I need to, and I think, because if we stop blaming other people and start taking our own responsibility, we
yeah.
can stop being the victim, right? And so for you, and I still believe in that. I still will say, okay, what can I do different? What can, I change? But it wasn't until I was seeing this therapist after I had moved. I was taking care of my mom, and she said to me how she'd gotten to know me a little bit. And she just said to me, she goes, now that I know you, and you've gone through therapy, you've read these self-help books, you're always looking at yourself to be like, what can I do different? And she goes, did you ever think it was them and not you?
Hmm.
And I said, no, that's why I'm in therapy.
Yeah. There's okay. So what is and I still want. I mean, we haven't even talked about the farm yet because that's super
I
exciting.
know.
But I'm curious. What, in your opinion, what was that? Not even. Okay, I was going to ask another question, but I'm going to ask this question instead because it's a better interview question. Um, what was life like after you had that shift? Was it like a big giant explosion, or did you have to take a little bit of time to integrate that?
It's both. Like, there's moments where it's just like this, like, it's like being in the dark, and all of a sudden the blinds and the windows and the curtains and the door just came open, and you're exposed to this sun, which is the truth. And you're like, what is happening? Like, it changed my perspective so much. But it's interesting because when I'm around those people who still pull that, and I get pulled back, I'm like, no, like, reconsider, the thought process. What, and I do still, point the thumb. What have I done to cause this behavior? Like, is it me? And it's like, so it's both. Like, I still kind of go through it, but it's very, I have better boundaries since I heard this woman say this to me. It's which has helped me a lot because it's like, okay, no, if you're gonna do this and make me feel this way and it is not deserved, then I'm separating myself from the situation.
I think that's, you brought up something so deep just there is, it self-reflection isn't always taking responsibility right away. And I think there's a narrative that maybe that's what accountability is just instantly saying, "Oh, you're right, I was wrong. Sorry." But
Mm-hmm.
accountability and self-reflection is taking a minute to analyze and really pick apart, okay, did this happen? Did I do this? Okay, where could I have misstepped? Okay, gotcha. That was definitely on me and my communication. No, that wasn't on me. That was on their perception. And to just look at it objectively. And then from there, take the accountability for the parts that are you, but also to say, yes, but that was not me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I think I've seen, I, I can probably look back and maybe start guessing and start tracking where that happened because you have, like I said, you've just exploded in the past couple of years. And it's been, again, it's been the most Lucretia thing that I have seen. And just seeing you in your element has been so cool. So we've got a couple minutes left. Tell us
Yeah.
about your latest passion and what you're
Oh my
working on
gosh,
now.
the farm. So I love this farm so much. I just went through a pretty hefty battle to save it. And that's a whole nother story that will one day come out on YouTube and my book. But I'm a farm girl. Like I used to, I I thought I was like this weird person because I'd go to school and everyone around here was farmers at the time. There's more farmers than there were now. And I'd be like, I guess I'm just not cool. I guess I'm just a dork. And then I transferred to my 4 year college after I got my associate's degree, and it's nicknamed Moo U because of how strong the agriculture program is. And I'm walking through these hallways, and I'm like, oh my gosh, these people love farming just as much, if not more, than I do. And I'm like, I found my people. Like, this is farming's cool. Wait a minute, maybe I am cool. And
Yes,
so,
you are.
thank you. And so I'm there's so much to this farm. I'm so grateful for it. It is a gift and a blessing and a privilege to walk the property where once upon a time, before long before even my parents' existence, Native Americans walked this property. And I think that's just really cool and special. And you can't just it's hard to make it in traditional farming. It's very challenging. And I somehow knew that a long time ago. So I have a theater communication major, equine science, animal science minor. Back then, I somehow knew agritourism, which wasn't a word back then, was the way to make farming happen. And so I'm working on Farm Girl Camp, where women will be able to come and, yes, experience scream therapy, chicken therapy, get your hands in the dirt. And I want to try and help women. The reason I'm creating this, I want to try to help women not have to go as long as I did to find their way to peace and calm and being authentic and drawing boundaries. And that's why Farm Girl Camp exists.
Oh, okay. You did. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm gonna geek out for a second because one, I grew up rural but not farm, and my boyfriend grew up farm, and so there's something in your blood, and it never really leaves
Mm-hmm.
when you are connected to the land and when you've been raised connected to the land. I think what you're offering, because I just got chills hearing about it. We're so disconnected
Yes.
from the land. And I think a lot of the common culture says, okay, well, if you want to connect to Earth, you have to go out to the forest. No, you can go. You can be with animals. You can go
Mm-hmm.
dig in the dirt. You can get dirt under your fingernails, and especially being connected to the Earth does give you a stronger sense of boundaries. I don't know what the alchemy is there, but spending time on a farm does something. It is a magic all of its own that has never really been fully celebrated. When you learn how to take something and create from it and to nurture the earth back. I mean, there's a whole it's a whole relationship. It's a whole conversation you're having with the land.
Yeah.
And for you to be teaching women how to do that, and especially I think that look, if you have ever wanted to go off the grid, you need to go to one of Lucretia's retreats. Like if you have ever wanted to even learn, because I think it's a skill that we're also sorely missing. It's a skill to actually kind of know how to, again, connect to the land and to create with it and create from it.
And slow
So
down.
everything that you're saying is just chills.
Yeah, good.
I really want to talk about that because it's something that I've been so excited for you about and so excited to see come to life, because you've done several projects with this. I know that you had a flower stand at one point,
Yep.
and a
I
little
have a
bit of like
farm
a
stand.
home
Yep.
bakery. So,
Yep.
last question before we go.
Yeah.
What is the best lesson that you have learned from returning to your farm roots and really taking on this farm and saying, I'm going to grow with it, I'm going to grow something from this? What has been the biggest, most impactful lesson that you have learned through this journey?
Farming makes you slow down.
Ooh, yep. Yep.
And you can have everything, set up perfect, but Mother Nature, she's in charge, and she will give and take. But if you slow down and respect her, you can get this relationship with the dirt, with the air, the wind, the sounds. Like, the most precious gift I cherish is when I get up at 4:30 in the morning, and I am out feeding, like walking my dog by about 5:15, and at least by 5, between 5:15, 5:30, I'm out going to take care of the chickens. And it is such a gift when I step out in the darkness and in the woods I hear the owls. And that magical moment, sometimes it's just one. There was one morning where 3 were talking to each other. I just stopped. I didn't care if I was going to be late for whatever I was going to be late for later. And it forces you to slow down and breathe and realize this thing that, we're addicted to doesn't matter. The haters on your social media, who cares? Because in that moment, and there's moments, I get a little nervous because it's coyotes and they're calling in the pack. And that's a little like when you can hear them and you're like, you're like right over there.
Yeah.
But it's still like, I'm so close to nature. But again, it makes me, even if, maybe my instinct should be run, but at the same time, I mean, if they've got food, they're fine. They're not going to, coyotes will leave you alone. But it makes you slow down. And I don't think we do enough of that. And that's what the farm has it's what I've been craving. So to be able to be forced into that lesson has been a blessing.
I think I just realized why we were meant to do this podcast together. That is, you bring such a grounding to my soul. And listeners out there who can relate to me, you need to talk to Lucretia for this exact reason, because I get very caught up in the quick. I'm very impatient. The way that I work is to get things as quickly as possible. And yes, sometimes there's a need for that, but I have so often forgotten the importance of knowing that nature knows what she's doing. The source knows what source is doing.
Yeah, source does.
And the gift that you bring to people to remind them in such a tangible way. You could post a little meme that says slow down. You could post a little picture of a fluffy girl just like taking a breath and saying no, it's not the same as what you do out at the farm. So for all of our listeners who want to get connected to Lucretia, how's the best way that they can get connected to you? How is the best way that they can come along on your journey and slow down and reconnect?
Yeah, and if you want to go to the farm's website or the social media, it's Stargazer Farms WI, because there's all their Stargazer Farms. So the WI is just to help you get directed to me. And you can also, if you go on Facebook or Instagram, and YouTube, you can also get directed to Farm Girl Camp, which will be rocking and rolling for the. Technically, it's the second one. The first one I didn't call Farm Girl Camp. This will be the first official Farm Girl Camp. But yeah, Stargazer Farms WI is where you can find me for all that good stuff.
All right, guys, we will see you in the next episode.
Thanks for listening. That's it for this episode. If you want to learn more about Chelsey, go to her website, ChelseyAlbertHealing.com. That's CHELSEY AlbertHealing.com. To learn more about Farm Girl Camp or to get yourself signed up, go over to farmgirlcamp.com/farm-retreats. So it's produced by Girl Boss Productions.